Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. The world needs to hear your message and your story, so don't deny the world of that gift within you that the universe has given you. Someone out there needs to hear your story because it will support them in feeling hope, inspired, and even transformed. Do you want to discover how I help get my clients out of their own way, show up, and confidently share their message? I would love to extend an invitation to you to join me in my free masterclass, Start Your Own Podcast from Idea to Implementation, on Wednesday, April 5th at 1 p.m. Eastern. You can find the registry link in the show notes. Hope to see you there. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guests are Anita Adrain and Cheryl Viczko. They are the co-founders of All in Alignment. So welcome, ladies. How are you both doing today?
Woo-hoo! Excited.
Excellent. Thanks for having us, Brad. We are super excited.
I am so excited to have you both here. I know that we've been trying to get this done for a little while now, so it's lovely to finally have you here and to be able to sit down and have the conversation with you. So with that being said, let us jump in and share a little bit about what you do, a little bit about your stories, and all the beautiful light that you put out into the world through the work you do. So as mentioned, you are the founders of All in Alignment. You're both authors. You are both certified in Essential Feng Shui. So I would love to know, you both have had your own careers in different areas, different types of work, and you now collectively have founded and run your business called All in Alignment. What are some of the key things that each of you do in order to prioritize and organize your time so that you don't burn out with all that you do? Let's start with Cheryl.
Great question. Let's just fire at it. I've watched a few episodes. I should have been ready. Great question, Brad. For me, I don't have as many demands on as other people. It's just my husband and I at home and the dogs. So I find scheduling things for Anita and I easier, but I also like to prioritize and I make sure that I'm at the top of that list. Because if I'm not in my best frame of mind, my best energy, my highest energy, then everything else suffers. So for me, it's me first thing in the morning, my time. And I have a schedule. I actually have a wall calendar the week gets written in on. So some very basic, simple things for me.
I love that because we have been told and conditioned and brought up to believe that putting ourselves first is selfish. And it's not. It's the exact opposite. We need to look after ourselves first so that we can give our best selves to the day, our business, the people around us, and all of these things. So I love that
Agreed.
You shared that.
Thank you.
Anita, how about you?
Well, my life is a little different than my partner's, and many times I get pulled in many directions. And largely that has to do with coming from a very large family, having grandchildren, all of those kind of things. And I really do rely on my partner to remind me to take some self-care time, which she has no problem doing. She picks up the extra slack sometimes, and lately she's had to pick up quite a bit because the demands of family have been ginormous. And she has an incredible talent for organizing, and she really does represent 0.04% of the population that has this brain that works in compartments. And I just love that about her. And so the synergy that we have in that way really works well for us. And I'm very blessed to have her as my partner.
Go, Cheryl. I love it. So, Anita, I'm going to start with a few questions for you specifically. In your previous life, BC, before Cheryl, I would love for you to share a little bit about what you were doing for a living and what the catalyst was for you jumping into entrepreneurship.
Well, BC, I would say I've always felt that I've lived 3 lifetimes already, and I'm probably going into my 4th in this body here. So entrepreneurship really started at a very young age, as I think it does for most people. Growing up, I was, of course, having a name, Anita. I was always the first one called upon at class. And quite often I was the one in grade 1 or grade 2 that have to show the new kid around school. And I was kind of an odd duck in my family and did a lot of reading. And so I was a smart kid. And so all of my friends growing up, from that grade 1 to grade 6, I'm going to say, every one of my close friends, their parents all had businesses. Every one of my very close friends, every one of them. One, her dad was the mayor. Another one owned the butcher shop. Another one owned a hardware, blah, blah, blah. All those things, right? So I had that environment. And then, of course, my personal family, having a large family, there was not a lot of emphasis placed on education. And so it was kind of expected that you had to go and make your way out in the world. Yeah. So that was my basis for entrepreneurship. And then again, at a very young teenage years, I was exposed to working in a couple of retail settings, etc. And that all led me to owning and operating my own retail brick and mortar flower and gift business for close to 20 years. So yeah, entrepreneurship has kind of always been part of me, part of
it's in your blood. Now, Anita, what drives, motivates, and inspires you to keep going and excelling at all that you do?
It really is the end result when you work with someone and you can visibly see the shift and the change that happens in their complete persona, shifts and changes, and the world around them changes, and you go, holy shift. I was a part of that. I was able to help them move through some limiting beliefs or move through some things and to be able to see things a whole lot differently. And so at the end of the day, when you have that profound feedback from a client, from a student, and you just go, wow, I'm making a difference in the world. And of course, we're all in this collective consciousness field of energy together. And what we do, one person can affect the whole. And that really is my motivation.
I love it. It's a beautiful gift when you are able to give back to someone and help guide them through something that they may be going through or teach them something. And then to see them implement it and utilize that is just, there's no feeling like it, being able to do that for another human being.
Yeah. It's just really being in service, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. 100%. Now, how did you get into Feng Shui to begin with, Anita, and what inspired that journey for you into the world of Feng Shui?
Well, it was one of those things that intuitively I practiced my whole life. Growing up in a less than 1,000 square foot home, I was always looking to beautify the space. I was always trying to make it look better or function better or something. But intuitively, I was just doing those things. And then, of course, hanging out with Mother Nature really solidified a lot of knowledge or wisdom or innate abilities or something. I don't know what it was. And it was in my early 30s that I attended a conference, and this woman got up on the stage. Her name is, I want to give her credit, her name is Jan Tober. She's a co-author of the Indigo Children book. Anyways, Jan jumped up on stage and she was talking about Feng Shui and da-da-da. And it was like this light bulb moment. I was like, holy shift. That's what I've been doing my whole life. And now somebody put a name to it. And so then I was immediately like, where can I learn more? What can I do? All of those things. And of course, 30 years ago, the word Feng Shui, people looked at me like I had horns growing out of the top of my head. And who are you? And whoa, all this stuff. And I discovered that there was a school in San Diego, California, called the Western School of Feng Shui. And I thought, oh, yes, my heart was just like, I need to go there. Well, I had 3 young children at the time, married to a redneck husband, which I'm still married to. And I was running this brick and mortar store that demanded 60 to 80 hours of my time per week. How the heck was I going to go to San Diego, California? Well, it was practicing the principles that I learned from reading the Western Guide to Feng Shui book by Catherine Collins that I was able to shift the energy in my own home, in my business, in my life. And it was like the universe just opened up this beautiful gate. and said, there you go, Anita, there's the path. And all of these synchronistic things started to happen. And next thing I knew, I was on a plane. I was going to California, no kids, no husband. And I was gone for a week. And I had to do that twice. And you know what? It's just been a beautiful practice in my own life for so many years. And the stories I could tell. In fact, people say the stories I could tell, I could write a book. Well, I did write a book because there were so many stories. And Cheryl and I are writing another book about stories. And so it's one of those things I did in another lifetime. It was just brought forth again because humanity needs it.
The universe conspires, and it's beautiful what the universe provides for us when it's needed. It's just such an amazing gift. I love that. Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful.
You're welcome.
Now, Cheryl, in your previous life, BA before Anita, can you share a little bit about your experience and what you were doing for a living and the catalyst for you jumping into entrepreneurship?
That's interesting. And Anita touched on so many things, and the trust. I just want to go back. I want to go back to that. When those doors open, trusting that door and that path is for you. And I think that's a stumbling block for many people.
Yes.
Anyway, I digress for a second. So thank you for letting me follow my fascination.
Yeah, absolutely.
So BA, before Anita, I spent many years working for the provincial government, many levels. Okay. I've had a career in retail. I've done the food and beverage industry. I have participated in direct sales. I was very good at direct sales, but that really wasn't a surprise because in the food and beverage industry, that's what you're doing, is you're selling. I always wound up finding myself in a leadership position, working my way up the chain, and then I'd get bored, and then I'd go do something else, and I go someplace else and get bored. And that was no different after 20 years with the provincial government. It was like done. And then I had, in my own direct sales business, I kind of hit a wall, figuratively and not so figuratively, and was laid up for a few months. And while I was laid up, I spent a lot of time pondering why? What am I going to do? What do I want to be when I grow up? And I was already in my 50s, and I knew I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go back to landscaping. I didn't want to go back to retail. I didn't want to go back to the government. What do I want to do? So a coach that Anita and I know, the same person, Andrew Barber Starkey, used to say, if you're stuck in a place, go back to what people tell you. And people would consistently tell me, I love your home. It always feels so comfortable here. It's always so inviting here. I just love your yard. I love coming over. And while I was laid up, my husband would set me up in the morning and just leave the back door open so people would just come and go and visit all day. It was great. That led me to having a conversation with my now feng shui partner. And that kind of snowballed things for us.
The rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah, well, there's more to it in between.
Yes, of course.
There always is.
Always. Now, Cheryl, what drives, motivates, and inspires you to keep going and excelling at all that you do?
Anita summed it up really well. When we can see a client or a student and they're like, seriously, from one week to the next, their entire energy shifts, their demeanor changes. And we know it's as a result of what we've taught them. They've taken the action. So all the credit is theirs, but the fact that they went from A to 500, their complete shift in energy, that holy shift is literally why we keep doing what we keep doing. It's amazing to see.
I love that holy shift. Awesome. Now, how did you get into the whole feng shui world, and what inspired your journey into it?
Well, I touched on that briefly because I was laid up. But prior to that, my husband and I bought the house that we're in currently 23 years ago. And a friend of mine had gifted me 2 books. And one was Living Color, The Art of Feng Shui. So I took the time, went through the book, plotted everything out, designed our yard, colors-wise, designed the color palette in the house, the exterior of the house, all based on the teachings from that one. But when I was laid up and had a conversation with Anita, she shed a whole bunch of light on the fact that what I had done, and I shared that with her, was like, God, that was complicated. It took me hours to figure out, and not so much the time invested in figuring out the birth date of this and the direction of that. And it was all based on my husband, and that quite frankly pissed me off because it was all on the birth year of the patriarch of the house. It's like, that?
Fuck that.
Is my language?
No, you can swear. It's okay.
Why is this all based on the man?
Yeah.
So that part pissed me off. Anyway, Anita had explained to me that there were different schools of feng shui and that it doesn't need to be that complicated. It was like, oh, okay. And she offered classes. So I signed up, and at them, I kind of went, I already do this. I do this innately. It's almost the words she spoke earlier. Yeah. I've done this before. How did I know that? There were nuances that I wasn't familiar with, but I already innately knew it and did it.
That's funny. You were both already doing this innately and just didn't have a name to put to it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's
exactly.
Very interesting.
She's definitely done this as a master multiple lifetimes. Her depth of knowledge is mind-blowing, and the way she sees things, it's amazing to work with her.
So you guys complement each other very well.
Thank you.
I love it.
It might be important to let the listeners know, really, because Cheryl just touched on it, Feng Shui, the word itself means wind and water, which is simply the joining forces of the unseen energy and how it affects the seen energy and vice versa. And wisdom, or the knowledge, the teaching, comes from thousands of years in the Eastern culture. And the school that Cheryl and I are both certified Essential Feng Shui Practitioners from is the Western School of Feng Shui. And so what the founder teacher, Tara Catherine Collins, did is she took that ancient wisdom and adapted it to the Western lifestyle so that it really is more fluid. It's more easy to understand. And like Cheryl touched on, there are two schools of thought. The book that she read 23 years ago is based on Compass School Feng Shui. And that's not what we do. And it doesn't matter whichever one you're drawn to, the end result is that it still works. Yeah. Whatever Feng Shui school you want to use, it still works in your home environment. It works on your mind, body, spirit. So I just wanted to clarify that for your listeners, because quite often we do, and it's not feng shui or feng gui, or my husband back then, 30 years ago, when I told him I wanted to go to a feng shui school, he said, feng yu. So it's none of those things, just to be clear.
Thank you for clarifying that, Anita. Now, I want to hear from each of you on this particular subject, your personal thoughts and stories in relation to this, seeing as you're both energetic alignment coaches. I've heard a lot of people say that most, if not all coaches, of course, they've been through their own personal struggles and their own journeys, and we've all been through our own struggles and journeys as human beings. But what I've found is through the women I've spoken to, that before making the leap into coaching, that particular struggle or journey was the catalyst to shift them into that world. Can you each share a little bit about your personal journeys that led you into the coaching world? Let's start with Anita.
Well, the coaching that Cheryl and I do is quite different than what someone might think of typically from a coach. And it's in the process or the programs that we teach in helping to our clients to identify the physical things in their environment that may be holding them back, and they're not even cognizant of it. And it's through our coaching that we're able to help them come to a different realization. So, for example, quite often the clients that we work with are also in our same age group. So we work with the baby boomers. And so the baby boomers' parents grew up in the dirty 30s. So they have some limiting beliefs that they've inherited from their parent. And quite often the clients that we work with, their homes have an excess of stuff, what we like to call clutter.
Yeah.
And it's moving the clutter and going through a proven process, a step-by-step process that we're able to help them shift their energy, but then also to help realize what caused it in the first place. And it's some of those limiting beliefs. So, for example, one of our clients that we worked with recently, she repeatedly discovered that she had been settling, that she had been making do with physical items in her environment. And so then where did she learn that she had to make do? And how did that affect her personal life, her career, her relationships, her finances, all of those important aspects? And when she could start to shift the physical environment, recognizing that she was making do, it shifted her self-worth, her self-love. And so really it is profound work that Cheryl and I do. And it's also when we work with our clients, we walk alongside them because we are not done either. I mean, I have had so many holy shift moments myself, and new awarenesses come to light of physical things that I had been packing along for my entire life, and coming to a realization that, you know what, that thing no longer serves a purpose in my life, but that thing was holding on to a thought, a belief, a pattern that I no longer want to associate with, that I no longer want to be. And so it really is interesting that you can release a physical item. And when you have that cognizant awareness that mentally, subconsciously, there's some other thing going on, and you can release that at the same time, it's incredible. It's an incredible feeling.
Profound. It's powerful as hell.
Yeah. And so, you know what? I mean, I still have lots to learn and do. But you know what they say, sometimes you have to teach what you need to learn.
Yeah, very true.
And that's what we've been doing. So we're not the same people we were 5 years ago when we started working together.
Well, you're not the same people you were even 6 months ago because
we're
continually growing and evolving.
We have shifted our personal energy in when we're helping our clients and students. Absolutely. And we come to that new awareness and we go, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
It's a win. It's a win for you and a win for your clients as well because you're learning in the process. Cheryl, do you have anything to add in there to what Anita was saying?
I just want to reiterate what she said is that oftentimes people will have their own definition of coaching. Mm-hmm. And we can say coaching, but we're more of guides, in my opinion. We guide our clients. We guide our students. Sometimes we have to bring things up that they're not willing to see. And even when we do that, they're still not willing. And it's like someone bringing up your own shit, right?
Yeah.
So they get a little bit, but we're not scared to tackle those tough subjects either. So yeah, I would call us more in the realm of guides, although it's coaching programs. And a lot of that is the verbiage of the day. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
Yeah, I found, again, through all the conversations I've had, a lot of women that I speak to don't like using the word coach. Mm-hmm. They'd use words like guide or mentor or what's another one I'm trying to think of? I can't remember off the top of my head, but they don't like using the word coach. They prefer to use words like guide and so forth. So I like that you pointed that out.
I think it's just because it's a little softer, the energy, and that's our own perception of the word coach. I think of a coach and I think of a drill sergeant in school that was taking us through coaching drills for sports. Yeah. That's how I look and deem as a coach, right?
Yes.
We're not drill sergeants.
Well, some of us can be. Not saying which one, but anyways.
Well, the coach is the one who stands on the sidelines, right? And tells the team or gives the team guides. The guide or the mentor or whatever other word you want to use is the one that's right there on the field playing with you, beside you, side by side.
That's us.
Cheryl, how have these experiences helped shape the Cheryl you are today?
Oh my gosh. Well, you mentioned earlier that both Anita and I are published authors. The stories and the book that we're working on right now, the stories and the shifts and what has transpired for our clients and our students transforms us every time we see it. It can't help but one person's energy in a room can affect everybody. So seeing that one person and knowing that person now has this confidence about her, that she goes to work and all of a sudden there's a different job opportunity for her and her self-worth now, and she's sitting up straighter and she's a better mom, she's a better employee, she's a better spouse. Oh my gosh, there is nothing better, honestly. Well, maybe your grandbaby, but that's getting us both sidetracked on something that's not feng shui related, but it is feng shui related. It's all about the energy and the impacts of that we're
Anita,
having.
Mm-hmm. What has been the biggest or most valuable takeaway or lesson for you through these experiences?
The biggest valuable lesson. Oh, gosh, I don't know that I can narrow it down to one. I don't think there is one because, again, everything energetically speaking, everything is energy. Everything is constantly shifting and changing, and we're connected to that energy. And it's to really bring that awareness of how you are connected to all things. And I think, again, I've learned so much in the last 4, 5, 30 years in the realm of Feng Shui, and I'm going to continue to learn and grow. But I think if I had to pick one thought that I could leave with the listeners, it would be that everything in your home environment is energy, and you are connected to that. And how you care for and respect everything is how you care for and respect everything, including yourself. And that the degree or level in which you love yourself is actually being anchored and or reaffirmed in your home and or work environment.
It's powerful. I love the tie-in for you both with the business. And of course, your name speaks it, all in alignment. But it always comes back to whether we're talking about things in our homes, as Cheryl's talking about on her front lawn, the colors, all of these things, but it all comes back to self-love. You guys tie everything back to the foundation of self. And I love that because it is such an important and integral message in all that we do and all that we are, is that it all starts here with us, the foundation of self. It all comes back to home here. So I love that you guys do that. I absolutely love it. It's beautiful.
We love it too.
Cheryl, what in your opinion is one of the most important qualities or skill sets in a guide? We'll use the word guide instead of coach. See what I did there?
Oh, gosh. I know in my case, I can't speak for others. It's patience and compassion to everybody. You don't know what's going on in somebody else's home. You don't know what's going on in their lives, and you have no idea what has transpired to this point for them. So having the patience and the compassion to listen and to pull out the good in each person, to pull out the aspects, because so often we have not been encouraged to blossom, encouraged to do self-care, encouraged in any of those areas. So having the patience, I think, for a coach is huge, or guide.
Yeah. Now, Anita, what would you say are the 3 most important lessons you've learned in your career as a coach or as a guide?
Well, again, I don't know that I want to limit it to 3. I think playing off what Cheryl just said, compassion definitely is number 1 on the list there. To have that compassion, knowing that we are all connected energetically, and that when you help one person, we are helping the whole. And to set aside that judgment, try to look at things energetically from an energetic viewpoint. That definitely is huge. Flexibility would be another one. Having the flexibility to correct and continue. We always use that term, correct and continue. So, okay, so we didn't do blah, 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 blah. That's okay. Don't beat yourself up. It goes back to that self-love thing again. People can beat you up all day. You don't need to beat yourself up. Let's just have that mindset that we can just correct and continue. Okay, today's a new day.
Yeah.
We got a new hour.
We made a mistake. We fucked up, and that's okay. Let's fix it and go on. Let's move onward. Let's move forward. Yeah. Because staying stuck in that, and like you said, beating yourself up, that's not going to get you anywhere. No. Least of all, it does not serve you and the people around you.
Not at all. And I have an opinion, my own opinion, that there are no mistakes. There absolutely are no mistakes. There are only experiences. And we get the choice of whether we want to experience that again or not. Yeah. And so again, it's in that verbiage and how we can change, just shift one word, shift one mindset around that word, and it can really be the catalyst for someone's change. So yeah, there are no mistakes, only experiences.
I love that. Thank you for pointing that out, Anita. Okay, so let's get into it and talk about All in Alignment, of course. This is part of why we're here. What was the inspiration behind starting and creating All in Alignment? And can you share with us what the business is all about, Cheryl?
There was not one particular point that went, we need to have a business. It was, Anita was brilliant at doing what she does, as you can see. The wisdom that comes out of her is amazing. Where she needed assistance was on the creation and the delivery and the scheduling and the organizing. And I don't even know if we had one particular conversation, to be perfectly honest. At one time, it was, do you want to teach this class? Sure. We both are teachers. I mean, we both grew up in large families, and I grew up in a very Catholic family, and I was standing at the front of the church reading the gospel without a microphone at a very young age. So I never had a fear of public speaking.
Right.
I knew she didn't have a fear of public speaking. We just started. It just seemed like the next logical step in our evolution, to be perfectly honest.
Love it. Beautiful.
But when we did start, though, we were Feng Shui with Anita and Cheryl.
Yes, we were.
Okay. So what was the shift there with the name of the business? How did that come about?
Cheryl?
Well, that was through where
Cheryl?
Anita and I are co-authoring a book and working with Ignite Publishing and Lady J.B. Owen. She not only works with you as you're writing, but as your business in a whole. And we were talking about the name and that we spent a lot of time explaining what Feng Shui was every time, every class, every podcast, every Facebook Live. We spent so much time explaining what Feng Shui was instead of getting into the goods. So it was through her coaching that All in Alignment appeared, literally dropped in the middle of our conversation. And while we're having the conversation, Anita's searching the name and, URLs are available. Bye. Seriously, the synchronicities, when something is meant to be, the door opens and you either walk through it or you don't. And we walked through it.
Lady JB is amazing. She's such a beautiful soul. And I was introduced to her through the two of you. So thank you for that introduction. And she's just a wonderful human being. And I love that she's helped you guys create, shift your business and grow it to where it is today. It's amazing.
Yeah, we're beyond grateful. Infinite gratitude for her wisdom, her coaching, her friendship. It's been amazing.
Anita, what are the long-term goals for All in Alignment? Where do you see All in Alignment going? Where do you want to take it?
Well, we're getting ready to go speak on stage in Las Vegas at Gatherama. And really, like Cheryl said, I mean, from a young age, neither one of us were shy. And I think that comes from growing up in a large family. When you want to get fed, you got to speak up. You got to be heard.
Yeah.
You could get lost in the crowd, figuratively, literally. So we both love being on stage. We love interacting with an audience. We both share a little bit of humor. Maybe we'll have our own show in Vegas after we're done. I mean, who knows? We just want to be on stage. We want to get our message out. We want to just make a difference. We want to impact people. And we also have another platform that we call Power of an Unstoppable Woman. And we actually host a virtual stage for women and an in-person stage for women. And again, all of that comes back to how can we make an impact? How can we make a difference? How can we raise up other women? How can we improve self-love? And again, collectively, the end result is that it is going to shift the energy collectively. And that in turn is going to shift humanity. And we have promise. We have hope for peace in the land. We really do.
Love it. And that is what it's all about, is raising the vibration of the collective and bringing everybody in and raising everybody up. That's part of why we're all here, is to do exactly that.
Yeah.
I love it. I can see the Cheryl and Anita show at the MGM Grand.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know what? Like, they have no idea what's coming. Anyway.
Yeah. Cheryl, I would love for you to share the story of how you and Anita met, connected, and decided to go into business together, decided to do this together.
Okay, sure. Well, we've touched on bits and pieces of it. We met years ago at this coaching program that I mentioned, the pro coach, Andrew Barber-Starkey. That's a long time ago. We've actually lived parallel lives, and we're discovering more about that as the years unfold. But when I was laid up, it was in 2016, I had a garage sale, and Anita stopped by the garage sale and picked up this picture that I was selling. I went, this would be really good for my Feng Shui class. That's how the conversation about Feng Shui started.
Ah, wow.
And she came for coffee, and we were talking in my house, and then I attended a couple of her classes, and the rest, as they say, is history. She's stuck with me now.
You guys, so you had met years ago in the coaching program. Had you guys stayed in contact? Anita knew you. You were friends already when she came by the garage sale, right?
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. Okay.
Well, we were acquaintances, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you
At that
became
point.
better friends as of that meeting with at the garage sale. And that's where it really blossomed into what your friendship has grown since then. But that's where it really started for you guys. Very interesting. Okay.
Well, I facilitate the Western School of Feng Shui curriculum in Canada because Tara Catherine Collins, who founded the school, she founded it over 30 years ago. She wanted to step back and semi-retire. So she had asked me, I'm going to say over 10 years ago, she asked me if I would facilitate the curriculum in Canada and offer live training sessions. And so it was that session that Cheryl came to and got her certification. I was so impressed with her organizational skills and her studentness. She was an excellent student and got everything done, all of those things. And I'm like, okay, I need somebody in my life like that. Somebody that was quick and understand. And so then, I asked her, I said, hey, would you teach this class with me? And then off we went. Well, and then COVID happened. Anyways, it was meant to be because, like I say, we've lived parallel lives and not knowing that. And it was just that the universe just knew that eventually we were going to interject and then boom, then we were going to ignite the possibilities and inspire some people.
And here we are.
Here we are.
Can you explain exactly what feng shui is at its core and how it influences the energy and harmony within the space, Anita?
So I touched on that, right? Feng shui at its core, it really is just recognizing how that seen energy is influenced by the unseen, those thoughts, those feelings, that emotion. We all have different homes. There's not two homes that are exactly the same. And the reason is because we surround ourselves with our personality. Our personality resides in our home based on our past experiences and beliefs. And we love something or we like something and we bring it into our home and it makes us feel good. And then there's a time when it doesn't make us feel good, but we still keep it because now we have a guilt. Then there's a whole other realm of emotions that come up, et cetera, et cetera. So really the whole premise for wanting to learn what we teach is to create a sanctuary. And the second part of our name, all in alignment, creating sacred spaces, your home, your heart, your health, and your harmony. And it's really bringing that balance into your life in all aspects, in all areas. And so you want to practice what we teach to create that environment that is a sacred space, that feels safe, that feels comfortable. Because when you feel safe and comfortable, then your autonomic nervous system relaxes. You are more of a conduit for that divine energy, that divine source intuition, intuitive hits. And then you can step into your greatness when you are in that connected flow. And so it really is looking energetically, what Cheryl and I like to put on our feng shui eyes all the time, these funny glasses that we wear, because we want to impress the idea upon everyone that everything is energy and you're connected to it. And it's either sabotaging you or it's supporting you. And at the end of the day, we all want to create that sacred space, whether it's inner or outer. And we help you look at the outer world, creating that sacred space so that in turn, you can create sacred space inside in your physical home, in your heart, in your health. And that's how we then can be of better service to the world. We're all here to be in service.
Yes, we are. That's the biggest.
And you know what? At the end of the day, Brad, at the end of the day, we ain't taking any of this shit with us.
That's right. You're right.
Right? And at the end of the day, we're all going to get a 1-hour PowerPoint and they're not going to have a picture of, oh, look at her beautiful living room. And well, she had crystal or whatever. I don't know. At the end of the day, it's all going to be about how much love did you share? How much compassion did you share? How much did you help people? And
how much impact did you have?
And we're not taking it in. Your kids don't want your shit either.
No. They don't.
Okay.
You never see a U-Haul being pulled behind a hearse.
No,
So
we're not
I
taking it
like
with
that.
us.
no,
So
we're not.
let's start living our life. Let's create that sacred space. And we're not promoting minimalism by any means, but it is about looking at things through an energetic viewpoint. And it's profound.
Cheryl, feng shui can sometimes be met with skepticism or misconceptions. How do you navigate the skepticism and educate individuals about the tangible benefits of feng shui in their lives?
Ooh, great question. Great question. Well, Anita has mentioned, and I've mentioned several times, that everything is energy. And if people want to be skeptics, that's 100% fine. If we can dive into whether or not they're a fan of science, and if they need scientific evidence, if they need proof, experiment. What the hell do you have to lose? Everything is energy. And when we drive back to that point, that's the basis of feng shui. Nature goes through stages. We're in spring right now. It's coming into growth. We go into summer, then it's a fruitful season. In the fall, it drops the leaves, and then it goes into dormancies. Those are the cycle of nature. That should prove energy. So anyone who is disbelief, and honestly, you have to speak their language. So I can say that when I first started down this road, having my spouse close the toilet lid was a bit of a challenge. But speaking his language in that everything is energy. Well, here's the thing. Everything is energy. And that's a natural waste disposal system. It's a vortex, takes it down. So it's taking the energy down the drain, meaning it's also taking your money down the drain. So now if you can talk the language of the person that has skepticism, it's very simple to close a toilet lid and keep the energy up here instead of watching the money go down the drain. There's so many of our sayings, believe it or not, that have proof scientifically, but we don't think about where the saying came from or what it actually means. We just repeat it.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Anita, how does feng shui contribute to creating healing environments, and what principles do you prioritize when working with clients to enhance the energy flow in a space?
Healing, and you can definitely have a shift in your physical health by energetically shifting things in your home environment. For example, if you have things that are in disrepair in your home environment, it might be a chair that you sit on and it kind of squeaks, or maybe it's not quite so comfortable. Well, over time, right? Repeated action over time equals results. Over time, sitting in that chair repeatedly is going to have an effect on your lower back. Then maybe you have something else in your home that's in disrepair. Quite often when I have gone to see clients and consulted with them in their home, and I can put on my feng shui eyes and I can see that there is a health problem already before the client even tells me, in the way that they care for and respect their possession, like a plant. So they may be a plant lover, but maybe 6 out of 10 plants that they have in their home are dying. They're being held up with a little stick and a string. And again, it's that we can take it back to that science piece that Cheryl was talking about. What you focus on expands. And in feng shui, we say where the eye goes, energy flows. Where energy flows, that's where our attention goes. So your subconscious program is receiving the information that this living thing is in disrepair and it's being held up by a stick and it's barely going to make it and it's struggling to find sunshine. And so your subconscious mind is putting that in your own physical body. 100%. I went and did a consultation one time for these clients that were at the age of retirement. They had sold their family farm, moved in to town, bought this beautiful condo, and she wanted to have me come in to make sure that the energy was good in their home. So I came in, and every room we went to, it was beautifully set up. There was great energy flow. It was inviting. It was welcoming. It felt safe. It felt comfortable. And I was thinking, okay, what's going on? And so then there was one room in the center of the home that I said, what's in this room? And she said, oh, that's my husband's room. I said, would he mind if we go in there? Nope. And so we opened up the room and it was full. of stuff, and it was in disarray, and there was bits and pieces of this and that and whatever. And I said to this woman, her husband wasn't in our conversation. I said to her, so think of this as like the heart of the home. Okay. Mm-hmm. Think of your home as physically being alive with energy, and we need that blood flow. We need blood flow. We need good oxygen flow to come through the home in order to feed the heart, the soul of the home. So this room of your husband's is like that. And right now, there are some blockages. So we can, again, the analogy of blocked arteries, whatever. And she got it. She's, oh, yes, okay. And so she wanted to encourage her husband to do something with that room. 2 weeks later, Brad, she called me, and her husband had a minor heart attack. One of his physical arteries was blocked. So there's an example of how the physical environment can, that outer world is connected to and being reflected in the inner world and vice versa. And she, of course, thought I was some crazy person. But anyways, it's all about that. So what in your home are you settling? What is not in great repair? That is affecting your overall health. It's affecting your energy. Having so much stuff is like suffocating. It's like sucking the oxygen out of your lungs. If you can't move in a space and you get, I can't find anything. How does that affect your health?
Stress.
Yeah, stress, right. Stress.
100%. That's what an incredible illustration of that. Thank you. That's very interesting. That illustration of that example was, wow, fucking mind blowing. It's unreal.
Yes.
Now there's more stories, Brad.
I'm sure we could do a few episodes on just stories, I'm sure. Cheryl, in what ways has your journey as a Feng Shui practitioner contributed to your personal growth and spiritual evolution?
Oh my God. In every direction that you can possibly imagine. When I first started studying with Anita, because she was the facilitator of the Western School of Feng Shui when I did my certification, as she mentioned. And I came home at that time because I was, what is my new location? What do I want to do what do I want to be when I grow up? And I started working on the career area of our home. And for our home, it is the front entrance. Within week, the same person, this Anita sitting here, says, I'm hosting an event here in Red Deer. You need to attend. Okay. I'm like, okay. Never heard of these women before, but I trust Anita. The least I can do is attend the event. So I go to the event, and I happen to be sitting in an area where the air conditioning's blowing on me, and my life is like, why are you even here? And my ego is chattering to me the whole time, and you're going to get sick and blah, 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 blah. I am a person who says, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So sick or not, I'm going to go to this event. That event introduced me to two women that later became friends. Then a contract that I worked for 4 years, it totally, literally opened up the whole spirituality, metaphysical world to me that I was not a part of prior to Feng Shui and Anita. You want to talk about an door opening? It was the double doors, and they were just
double
wide open.
French doors opening to a mountain view.
Yep. Massive changes. And that was working on one area in my house.
That's powerful. Holy
Huge.
Shit. Massive. Anita, how does Feng Shui support individuals in aligning with their spiritual path and finding greater resonance with their life's purpose?
Well, that's an excellent question. And I would say that if someone practices Feng Shui, whether it's what Cheryl and I teach or another thought school, doesn't matter. The end result is going to be the same. But what will happen is you will shift your energy. When you shift your energy in your space and you're able to then shift that inner world, then those things that are meant for you, whether it's your life purpose or whether it's your spirituality or your awakening, those things that are meant for you in this lifetime will come to you quicker. They're already aligned. They were aligned the day that you decided to make the jump from the heavenly plane to the earth plane. There was a plan, there was a path, said you could do this and this. But if in the meantime you got so dense with physical energy, because physical energy is dense, so we have to kind of move some of that dense energy out of the way so that then we can connect to that higher source energy. That's where you find your path, your purpose, your awakening, your awareness. That whole thing just, and Cheryl said, the floodgates, it can just open up in an instant. And then all of a sudden you look back and you go, holy shit, that was amazing. And that makes so much sense, right?
Yeah.
Things just start to fall into place and you go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah. That's where you have those aha moments and you go, how couldn't I see this before? Well, you couldn't see it because there was too much dense energy around you.
The holy shift moments.
Yeah, there's lots of them.
I love it. Cheryl, what do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
I like following my fascinations, and I know I was born with, and Anita's mentioned it, this innate ability to organize. So I think that's had a lot to do with it. But I like to follow fascinations, and I like to ask questions. And I know, and I've had past bosses like, oh, you and your questions. But
asking all the questions.
Right? But I like to understand, and I like to understand how things flow and how it works. And I like the bigger picture, but then I want to get into the nitty gritty. And that's where the detail, the organizer in me comes in. And it helps to understand the bigger picture, because there's some big picture thinkers. And my feng shui partner here, Anita, is one of them. She's 9 steps ahead of everybody else. And then it's okay, bring that down. We're here today. What do we need to do today? Because today is important. We'll get there, but we need to come back down to here. So I'm a very grounded person. And in our partnership, that organizing and the groundedness and the bringing, okay, yes, love all the ideas. Let's funnel that right back down into now, please.
Again, you guys complement each other very well. You keep each other in check with your different skill sets and qualities. Anita, how do you define success? What does that word mean to you?
Well, you know what? Success for me is how many lives can I impact? It's a smile, it's the laughter, it's joy, it's being in service. That really is success. Because like I say, at the end of the day, we ain't taking any of this stuff with us. Nope. No matter how. And I mean, yeah, you can have a big bank account. You can have a big, beautiful house and drive that Mercedes or that Cadillac, whatever you like. It really doesn't matter. No. I mean, those things are there to make your life more enjoyable. But just think of it as that it's just there to bring you more joy, to make your life more comfortable. And when they stop making your life enjoyable and more comfortable, then you haven't reached any level of success. So yeah, success for me is how can I impact another human being in a very positive way?
That's what it's all about. That's why we're all here.
Because that's what they're going to be talking about the day that I leave, right? That's what they're going to be talking about, not
absolutely
all that other stuff.
Not the shit you had, not the house you lived in. They're not going to sit there, oh my God, Anita's house was fucking beautiful. Or Anita drove a Mercedes. How fucking cool. People don't give a shit about that. And like you said, we're not taking any of that shit with us. Nope. It's all just stuff. That's all it is. That really is all it is.
And we have been programmed, right? We have been programmed. Our subconscious programs have been purposefully implanted in there by societal norms that say to reach a level of success, you need to have those physical things. But in fact, at the end of the day, that is only lining the pocketbook of someone else. I mean, it's not serving the big purpose. No. And humanity is shifting. We are shifting, and we are starting to be aware of, oh, you know what? Those big corporations, they have been playing with our minds for the last 40 plus years. Yeah. Oh, they've been impressing an idea upon our subconscious mind that, oh, success is this, because then we have to buy more of their stuff. And, so we're getting smarter. We're getting smarter.
People are starting to wake up and realize that, wait a minute, no, life does not have to be lived the way that we've been told and we've been fed and we've been pushed to believe it does, because we don't. There's a totally different way we can live that will bring so much joy and happiness. It's not, well, I'll be happier once I have that 6-bedroom house, or I'll be happier when I get that Mercedes. No, you won't. That novelty will wear off, and then you'll be in the same fucking position you were in, except you've got this $100,000 car or $70,000, $80,000, whatever it is, who cares? It doesn't mean shit. It doesn't fill your heart. It doesn't fill your soul. It doesn't do any good for any people out in the world. It's just a thing. Who fucking cares? So what? You have a Mercedes. Good for you. That doesn't impress me. I'm not going to look at you as any more impressive because you have this thing. That doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I care about, are you a good person? Do you want to help the world? Do you want to create impact? Do you want to give back? That's what matters. I don't give a shit what you drive or how big your house is. It doesn't matter. But we get caught up in it because of the conditioning.
You'll know that person. Yeah. Because when you meet them and you see them energetically, you don't need to see what they drove up in.
No.
Because our energy speaks first. Our energy field is the first thing someone else bumps into without uttering a word. And we've explained this time and time again. You, Brad, can walk into a room and you know there was an argument that happened 5 minutes before you walked into that room, even though everybody in there was smiling. And you can walk by another space or two people that were sharing a look and know, oh, they have some kind of connection.
There's some chemistry here.
There's something happening here.
Yeah.
That's our energy. And our energy never dies. So when Anita is talking about we're going to be remembered for whatever, it's her energy field that's going to be remembered because she was always giving, always compassionate, always there to serve, as is you, as are many other people.
And you, and all the people we surround ourselves with, because that's what we want. We want to continue to surround ourselves with people who are of like mind, who are of like energy, and who are here to do good. That's what it's about.
Yeah. And I do want to add to Brad with success. I mean, it's okay to have a big bank account, right? Because the more that we have, the more that we have to share.
Yes. The more we can do good with.
We can do good with. So there is the fine line of how we have been programmed for success and how we can define it for ourselves to kind of know where we fit into that success stature in the world. Because, I mean, we all have to eat and we all have to pay our bills and all of those things. So absolutely, we do need that monetary level of success in order to do that. And of course, and the more we have, the more that we have to give and to share.
I think it's also important to mention too that money is also just energy. That's all it is. It is
energy.
And we can exchange that and do more good. The more money we have, the more good we can do. So yeah, I love that you pointed that out, Anita. It's very important.
Yeah.
Cheryl, what does the word empowerment mean to you?
Empowerment is how I like to feel, but more importantly, what I would love others to feel after they've been around us, after they've watched this. It's the courage to take action on something maybe that you didn't want to do or you were hesitant about, is to go against the grain. I've said that more than one time today. And I'm sure I was brought into this world to headbutt against all the masculine dominance. It's been part of my life since the get-go that so he can do it, I can do it. What's the difference? So empowerment is to share the energy enough that someone has the courage, even if they need to borrow my courage or Anita's courage, to take a step towards what they're really desiring.
Love it. Powerful and beautiful. Okay, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section here. So the next grouping of questions just be 1, 2, 3 word answer type thing. So I want to hear from both of you on each of these ones since they're really quick. Anita, how would you describe yourself in one word?
Energetic.
Cheryl?
Happy.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be, Anita?
Peace.
Cheryl?
Patience.
What's one thing you want but cannot buy with money, Anita?
That is definitely peace. Peace in the land.
Okay. Cheryl?
Peace is my peace.
Cheryl?
Love, compassion, patience.
What is one of your favorite entrepreneurial books, Anita?
So many. I think probably Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill.
Cheryl?
Biology of Belief, Bruce Lipton. He literally has a chapter that is, Anita, title of chapter 2. All of a sudden, we're both blank. Yeah. It's your environment, stupid.
Yeah.
If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be, Anita?
I'm going to say uplifting.
Cheryl?
Nice smile. I'm happy.
What is one thing you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance, Anita?
I think the ability to see things that are not seen by other people.
Okay. Cheryl?
I'd say my ability to organize places, people, situations.
That concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program.
Oh, good.
Oh, now that you're aware of the word program, you're going to start seeing it.
Yes.
Right? Once you
Yes.
become aware of something, it'll hit you next time you're watching TV. This program may have scenes of nudity and foul language, blah, 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 blah. This program, we will take you now to the regularly scheduled program.
Yes, I just saw a gentleman was talking about a documentary. The documentary is called Out of the Shadows, and he talks about that whole thing with how the TV is a device used to program. He says, what comes up on TV? What's the first thing? A list of programs. Pick your program. All this stuff tied into the programming, and that's exactly what it is, this little black box that programs you. So very interesting, Cheryl.
Manipulation.
Yes, exactly. And that's a whole other podcast episode.
That's another podcast.
Anita, what aspect of your personality do you think has been the most helpful in your career?
Outgoing, because I'm a people person and I can connect people with other people. And it's creating that relationship. I mean, like I say, from an early age, when your name starts with A, you get called upon, so you can't be shy. Yeah. And it's that extrovert, I guess that extrovert in me that probably has allowed me to establish and create amazing relationships with people like you, Brad, and people all around the world. And I love people. I love creating those relationships.
That's the foundation for everything, is that relationship. And the one that we have with ourselves is of the utmost importance because it is the longest standing relationship we will ever have in our lives. It is the most important one we'll ever have, is that one with self. But relationships are the foundation. You can't get through life without relationships. You can't be an entrepreneur without relationships, without connection, without community. It's so important. We need it, period.
Yep.
That's it. Cheryl, if you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
Oh my God.
Don't ask me that one.
I have no idea. What would people want to know about me? What are your fascinations right now?
Okay, go ahead, answer it.
Sacred geometry, sonic geometry, and biogeometry, because they all relate back to energy and the teachings of the ancestors, the ancients, back to ancient Egypt. That's what fascinates me right now.
Love it.
Thanks. Great question, Brad. Thank you.
Thank you. Anita, what would you say is one of the most important lessons you've learned in business so far?
Well,
speaking of taxes, being tax time and all.
I think it comes back to that relationship. When I had my brick and mortar flower store, some days I wondered if I was a counselor or if I was a floral designer, because it was those relationships that I was able to build and establish that people trusted me. They trusted me with all kinds of information. And sometimes I was like, whoa, I put my fingers in my ears. I didn't want to hear it, but they told me anyways. So yeah, I think it's building that trust within a relationship. That's huge.
Cheryl, if you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
Wow. This is going to shock some people, but I'm going to say Kate Middleton.
Okay.
And why is because what she's going through right now and the opportunities for healing that are presented to her can outwardly influence absolutely everybody on the face of this planet when it comes to health and healing and frequency and energy, because they have access to things those that are being programmed do not.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Anita, if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
Yeah, so the younger self, I would give that younger Anita a little kick in the pants and say, don't always believe what you hear. Don't let other people's opinions influence you. Follow that heart, that intuition. Because there's been times when I haven't done that and it hasn't worked out so good. And if I would have learned that early on in life, it would have been a little different. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I want you both to answer this last one. This is the last question. So Cheryl, we'll start with you. If you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your tribe, your people, your corner of the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
Above and beyond anything else, ensure your heart is happy. Because when your heart is happy, your face smiles, and that affects everybody around you.
Beautifully said. Wonderful way to end. Anita, how about you?
There's this poem, I guess, author unknown. When there is harmony in the home, there is harmony in the land. And when there's harmony in the land, then there's peace in the nation.
Ladies, thank you so much for your time, for being here with me today and sharing a bit about your journey, your stories, and the beautiful light that you put out into the world through all the amazing work you're doing. It has been an absolute pleasure and honor to have you here. Thank you so much for taking and making the time to spend with me and share with me today. I appreciate you both, and I'm honored to have you both as members of the Empowerography community.
Oh, thank you so much, Brad. You're doing such incredible work. And seriously, standing ovation. If I stand up, I'll disappear off the screen, but there's standing ovation for you. You're touching so many lives in doing what you're doing. And you're one of the many stars, the light that's out there, that energy that is affecting and rippling and having an impact on the consciousness of this planet. So
thank you. I received
honored to be
that.
a part of it.
Yeah, thank you, Brad, for your compassionate action, because that is what is going to shift humanity into the next evolution of our existence. So yes, thank you so much. You're brilliant. Thanks for having us.
Thank you both for your very beautiful and kind words. I received them. And thank you for the work that you are doing and helping people to align with their hearts, their souls, all of it. It is absolutely beautiful. I'm just honored to be able to call you both friends. So thank you very much. I appreciate you both. Once again, my name is Brad Welsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guests have been Anita Adrain and Cheryl Viczko. They are the co-founders of All in Alignment. They are both authors and certified in Essential Feng Shui. Thank you both so very much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye for now.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.